Hi, my name is Jessie and welcome to my channel. I have been living abroad for many years now, over 6.5 years, and I don't plan on moving back home anytime soon. I'm originally from the United States, from California. Over the years, I have lived in Argentina, in Spain, and in Germany. Actually 2 times in Germany, so I came, I left, and then I came back again because I really enjoy Germany. My reasons for moving abroad when I was younger versus now, and each reason why I keep leaving or not wanting to go back to the US, it really changes over the years, all the different reasons about why I don't want to go back. But ultimately I always end up at the same conclusion that I do not want to go back to the US. In today's video I'll be talking about reasons why I don't want to go back to the US, and these reasons all reflect where I am right now in this point of time. My feelings about the US might change in the future, and that's okay. I think life is all about being open to change, and yeah, maybe one day I want to move back to the US and that will be a great adventure. When I was 20 and moving abroad for the first time and just envisioning the next decade of my life, my 20s, I just wanted to live life to the fullest, to travel, to see the world, experience new cultures, learn new languages, meet people different from me, and really just get to see the world and experience everything that it has to offer. I love traveling, and living and working abroad seemed a really great way to experience new cultures and languages. The idea I had for myself when I first moved abroad was that I would spend my 20s living and traveling abroad, and I thought that maybe when I was around 30 and starting to settle down and think more about having a family, that then I would move back to the US. Now that I'm in my late 20s and at the point where I thought that I would be returning back to the US to live permanently, I don't want to move back. And in today's video, I'll be discussing 7 different reasons about why I don't want to move back to the US. Reason number 1 is just the fact that you have to drive everywhere in the United States. I'm not the biggest fan of driving, especially when it's in traffic and cities and stuff. I don't find that enjoyable. I really don't like having to rely on a car to get everywhere. Even if you live in a city in the US, you probably should have a car to get around. And I personally dislike that. I currently live in Berlin and I use public transportation to get around everywhere, and I find that really enjoyable. I like being able to just sit back and not have to think about driving in traffic, and I like that I can get to everywhere I need to go without having to rely on a car. It makes me feel more free in a way. This leads me into my second point, which is just I don't want to live in a suburb. If I were to go back to the US, most people I know live in suburbs, and I personally hate suburbs. I find them extremely boring. And I wouldn't want to live somewhere that's just street after street of houses that all look the same, and there's no stores, there's nothing to do in the area, it's just houses. I find this endless sprawl of suburbia really strange, and I don't think that's how humans were meant to live. I find suburban living just sort of lacking a certain life element. It feels dead and empty, and I know a lot of people love it, and that's great, but it's just, for me personally, I don't want to live in a suburb. Now, point number 3 is very much connected to the last point of how I don't like living in suburbs. And point number 3 is just I really enjoy the livability of European cities. Here in Berlin, within a 10-minute walk of my apartment, I have everything I could possibly need. And I like that. I like that I can walk out my door and walk to the doctor. I can walk to the pharmacy. I can walk to clothing stores, restaurants, cafes, the park. There's everything that I need, and I love that. I enjoy that a lot of European cities have separate areas that are just for pedestrians, and I find that a really nice and pleasant experience just to walk, and it brings a slower pace of life, which I find really enjoyable. My 4th point is that I find the US very expensive. Rents in most US cities are really high, and I'm not sure if I would be able to afford it. Here in Berlin, rents are rising and people are frustrated with that, which I definitely understand, but at the same time, it is much cheaper to live in Berlin than other European capitals. In comparison to other cities in the US, I find the rents here quite affordable. Reason number 5 is social benefits. The German government offers a lot of social benefits that the US just doesn't have, and I really value having that. I enjoy having a healthcare system here that actually is functioning and people can use it. That people here in Germany actually take and use their vacation days, which is something that doesn't happen in the US, or that they have a really good unemployment system, or if you have a baby, there's social benefits for that. I find that the German government supports its people more than the US government supports its citizens. And point number 6 is safety. I feel a lot more safe living in Germany than I do in the US. Obviously crime does happen here in Germany, but it does feel safer. In the US, there's always a worry in the back of my head of, does this person have a gun? If I go to the movies, is somebody gonna pull out a gun and start shooting everybody? Or is my neighbor gonna get mad at me and pull out a gun? You don't know. And I find that element of uncertainty really scary, and that doesn't exist here in Germany, and it's nice not to have that worry. And finally, my last point is just that I can't find anywhere in the US that I'd want to move to. Every once in a while, I try to imagine where I would go, and I come up empty-handed. I can't think of a city or a region that I would truly think that I could be happy in. I'm really happy here in Germany. I think the idea of home has really changed for me, and more California feels like the place that I grew up, but Germany feels like home. Those were the 7 points that I have about why I don't want to move back to the US. My reasons for not wanting to move back to the US have changed over the years and just reflect where I am personally in my life, and probably they will change in the future, and I'll just have to see what happens. Now we're reaching the end of my video, and I just want to shout out another YouTube channel really quickly called Not Just Bikes. I will put a link below. This channel has a lot of different videos discussing differences between North American and European cities. If you want to find out kind of why European cities are more livable, there's lots of videos about that. And if ever I'm thinking that I want to move back to the US, I'll just go check out a Not Just Bikes video, and I'll instantly be reminded about, oh yeah, this is why I like Europe, and that's why I dislike America. So I highly recommend checking out their channel. It's really interesting. Please give this video a like. Comment below if you have ever lived abroad and why you left your home country. Thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys next time. Ciao!